University of Colorado, Denver is not so sure they want to give him a dissertation for it. Why? Because they're old school. But this is really good research and worthy of a PhD. All right? So let's welcome Christopher to the stage.
Thanks. Yeah, so I'm at this school here and got a lot of press for this, and it was press release and then came out and it got picked up by different news media. It was in the New York Times and Le Monde and several different blogs. Who's unfriending who and why are they doing it? And the story gets a little bit more complicated, or a little more interesting anyway in terms of media. What my wife did was she texted a friend who also lives in Colorado, who grew up in Vermont, and said, I lost a friend today, Sally Smith, not her real name. And so he posted on his Facebook account, Sally Smith, rest in peace, which was a misinterpretation of what my wife meant. And so he started getting people saying, hey, what happened to Sally Smith? He said, I don't know, Christine knows about Sally Smith. And so she got a phone call from a guy in Atlanta, and he said, you know, what's going on here? And she didn't know anything because her school blocks Facebook accounts. So she had no access to what he posted, didn't know anything. And ultimately I was like, yeah, she didn't die, but I think you're dead to her. And so I wanted to see who's unfriending who, what they're doing, why they're doing it, what kinds of friends are doing this kind of behavior. But there can be other reasons why people might unfriend. And as an overview, what we can see is that the research shows that the initiator of the friend request has more than their expected share of unfriends compared to those who receive the friend request. So that is, if you ask someone to be your friend, you are more likely to be unfriended by that person than you are to take that person and say, I'm not interested in being their friend. And what I also saw was those who said they unfriended for online reasons, there were 4 factors in order. The person posted too often about unimportant topics, whatever those unimportant topics are. They posted about polarizing topics, which are politics and religion. They posted about inappropriate topics, which might be racist, sexist speech. And they posted forth about everyday life topics compared to those who are unfriended for offline reasons. So in this analysis, what I'm really doing is I'm comparing 2 groups of people, and I'm using one as a baseline and comparing it to the other groups. So those who said they unfriended for offline reasons, we're going to see if the people who unfriended for online reasons had a different level of agreement. One of the things that you could do in these moderated forums in Usenet that you can't do in Facebook, at least currently, is you can't decide which messages show up on your news feed before they show up on your news feed. And this creates a lot of angst amongst college students who are looking for jobs. They'll be concerned about, is someone looking at their Facebook page for privacy reasons, for job reasons, and they know that sometimes some posts will be inappropriate, that will be potentially viewed by employers, and they have no way of controlling what shows up there. After it's posted, they can delete it, but they can't decide to show certain posts before they arrive. Well, social media seems to be changing the landscape of what people do online. It's the #1 place where Americans spend in terms of time online, with 23%. This is according to Nielsen in 2010. And it's an increased 43% over the last year. Email is still popular, it's #3, but it's decreased by 28% over the last year. So we see that people are choosing different media for different messages, and people really like these sort of social network features. Sure, there's many limitations to this. Can't possibly say that the Twitter people are necessarily representative of everyone. It's not random. The 2 things I think I really missed in this unfriending study were the role of privacy. So people who unfriend, particularly for privacy reasons, they say, I'm concerned about having so much information out there, I don't really need my 5,000 friends all be able to see this stuff. And another one was identity management. Talked a little bit about in this conference too, but people have different roles in their lives. They have their work roles, their common interest roles, their family roles, and didn't look at the reasons for unfriending for those particular things, like people not being able to manage these kinds of relationships. If you're concerned about being unfriended, you probably want to avoid posting about all this sort of stuff. If you're not concerned, don't worry about being unfriended, post about whatever you want. If you're a political organization, you're going to write about politics. If you're a religious organization, you're going to write about religion. So that's fine. You can use lists and narrowcast your posts, those who might be interested in your post. Facebook seems to want to make more connections. They really seem to bury the unfriending feature in the page. There's no way to mass unfriend people. They've tried to promote lists and now groups, and it's really been quite ineffective. They say about 5% of their users use lists. Someone mentioned this earlier in the conference too. Can we have buttons there that say, I want to see more posts like this, fewer posts like this, try and make a better feed. Because people don't like the frequency of the unimportant posts. But it really is saying, hey, you're important. So this is sort of an ego support kind of example, value that you're getting at or something like that. So, I don't know how much time I have. I have some other stuff, but we can end it here.
Awesome. Let's hear it for Christopher, and then we're going to take a few